What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I'm back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my 2021 NFL Draft first round grades and reactions to the first round of the NFL Draft. Before I get into it, make sure that if you haven't already, that you guys subscribe to the channel. Also, share the video on your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram would be greatly appreciated. So this was a really interesting first round. We had a lot of interesting trades. I'm really interested in what's going to happen in rounds 2 and 3. This video is going to be a little bit lengthy, so let's waste no time. Let's dive right into it. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm giving them an A+ for drafting Trevor Lawrence #1 overall. We already pretty much knew that the Jaguars were going to take Trevor Lawrence as soon as it was pretty much already announced that they were going to have the #1 overall selection. I give them an A+. Can't wait to see what Trevor Lawrence does with Urban Meyer. Zach Wilson, drafted second overall to New York Jets, like we all expected as well. That's been widely speculated over the last couple of months that Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are pretty much going to be the two locks for the first two picks. I'm giving them an A+ as well. I've been seeing a lot of people, hating on Zach Wilson. I really think that Zach Wilson is going to do great in LaFleur's offense, and not Matt LaFleur. I'm talking about the other LaFleur. So I think that Zach Wilson was a really good pick. And when you look at the New York Jets, they have a really good coaching staff that I'm going to dive into after the draft is all over, when I get into, giving you guys deep dives of what to expect from the New York Jets coaching staff and whatnot. So make sure that you guys subscribe to that. We have the best offseason content here on JT Sports. Now, this is where the draft really got spicy. Third overall is where you can say the draft really started. So we knew that the 49ers were pretty much going to choose between Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and they went with Trey Lance, which is what I expected them to do. I was praying that they didn't go with Mac Jones, even though I had nothing wrong with the 49ers drafting Mac Jones. I made a video a couple of days ago saying that I don't think there's anything wrong with the 49ers taking Mac Jones third overall if they wanted to. But obviously, Trey Lance and Justin Fields had the higher upside, and I like the decision to go with Trey Lance, because if I was in John Lynch's shoes or Kyle Shanahan's shoes and I had to choose between Trey Lance, Mac Jones, or Justin Fields, it probably would be a coin flip between Justin Fields and Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to be phenomenal in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And you're going to have a guy who has like Josh Allen potential. Trey Lance has the potential to end up being not only one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but he also has the potential to be the best quarterback from this draft class, because he has a higher ceiling than Trevor Lawrence. Fourth overall, the Atlanta Falcons took tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. Now, when you look at Kyle Pitts, okay, this guy is pretty much a hybrid tight end. He can play tight end as well, but he can also play wide receiver as well. Similar to like a Travis Kelce. Like, remember how Brock Gronkowski was utilized during his time in New England in his prime? They used to line him up at wide as well. So I think it's going to be really interesting seeing that two tight end combo with him and Hayden Hurst. I agree with the decision. A lot of people were feeling like Atlanta needed to go quarterback at 4, which I didn't have no problem with it, but something just told me that I just feel like Atlanta is trying to win now. We look at Atlanta's roster, at least from an offensive standpoint, I think they have enough talent on offense that they should end up having a top 10 offense. Now, their defense still does need some work, especially in the secondary, but I do think that Atlanta could be a better team than what a lot of people think going into the 2021 NFL season. Fifth overall, okay, I wasn't really all that high. I think this is like my first non-A letter grade that I've gave out so far. I'm giving Cincinnati a B. I really wanted to give Cincinnati a C, but I'm speculating that Cincinnati is going to be smart, and in the second, third, and the rest of the rounds, they're going to go off the line and focus on protecting Joe Burrow, because you have Penny Sewell right there. I don't understand why you would pass on him, but okay, if you feel like Riley Reef is going to give you what you need and you got John, okay, I feel you, all right. Go ahead, pair Joe Burrow up with his former college teammate The chemistry is going to be there. Now you got T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd, and you got Jamar Chase. Cincinnati definitely has one of the more underrated wide receiver groups in the NFL. I am going to give them a B. Like I said, I really want to give them a C, but I'm going to give Cincinnati the benefit of a doubt. I really feel like they should have went offensive tackle. Your franchise quarterback just got put on his back a couple of months ago. He had his season ended early, so I thought Cincinnati would learn and try to protect them. So, I mean, like, I'm not upset. I mean, I am upset. Okay, I really feel like you should have went offensive tackle, but I do have something wrong with you taking Jamar Chase, but, you know, as long as you do work on improving the offensive line the next couple of rounds, okay, I can live with it. 6 overall, the Miami Dolphins took Alabama wide receiver Jaylen Waddle. Now, I didn't expect Jaylen Waddle to be the first Bama wide receiver taken off the board, even though I feel like Devontae Smith is a better overall player. I feel like Jaylen Waddle was a better fit for in terms of what Miami is looking to do in that offense. Tua is pretty much a guy who isn't, you know, doesn't have the strongest arm, so he needs some guys who can make plays happen with the ball in their hands. Basically, Jaylen Waddle is the definition of that. Jaylen Waddle can turn a 5-yard slant, a 2-yard drag into a 60, 70-yard highlight wheel or touchdown because of his game-changing speed. As a matter of fact, he may be faster than Tyreek Hill. Some people are trying to dispute that. Some people say that he is. Some people say that he's not. But he's just as good when it comes to what Tyreek Hill is able to do from a skill point standpoint. And on top of that, you also got to look at it like this. Jaylen Waddle is going to be reunited with Tua Tagovailoa, so they already have a little bit of a connection there. I think that's really good. And for Tua, now you get a guy who you can go ahead, take those little dump ball passes, and he can take it to the house. This is exactly the kind of wide receiver that the Miami Dolphins needed. Now, I wanted to see what Miami would have done if Kyle Pitts was still on the board, but Kyle Pitts got taken 4th overall to Atlanta. I'm giving the Miami Dolphins an A for this selection. The Detroit Lions took Penei Sewell 7th overall. Oh my God. They could have went wide receiver here. They could have selected my guy Devontae Smith. I'm giving Detroit a A++. I love this pick, man. With this pick, Detroit has cemented their offensive line. Their offensive line is pretty much complete. You got right tackle, you got left tackle, you got guard, you got right guard, you got center. Detroit's offensive line is going to be really solid this year. And with Detroit's offensive line being solid, I think Detroit is going to be a better football team than what a lot of people are going to be expecting out of them with the first-year head coach. Now, I'm not expecting Detroit to make it to the playoffs or anything like that, but with how good this offensive line is, this Detroit team is going to be able to move the ball because, like you guys know what I'm about to say, if you can't win up front, you're not going to win a lot of games. Detroit can win up front. Now your offensive line is complete. I really like Detroit's offensive line. I am in love with this pick. I feel like this is one of the best picks of this draft. And I feel like this is one of the best picks that the Detroit Lions have made in a very long time. I am in love with this pick, man. I love Penei Sewell going to Detroit, man. And the crazy thing is, I don't even think Detroit Lions fans were expecting Sewell to still be available at 7. I'm really excited to see what this Detroit Lions offensive line does. I think Detroit's offensive line is going to be really good, and that's why they're going to be a lot better than what a lot of people are going to be giving them credit for. We're going to be talking about them later on this offseason after the draft. 8th overall, the Carolina Panthers surprised me. They took cornerback J.C. Horn. Now, I thought they would have took Patrick Surtain because Patrick Surtain, in a lot of people's eyes, is the best cornerback in this draft class. Me, personally, I had J.C. Horn over Patrick Surtain. I'm giving him a B+. Okay, you had Justin Fields on the board. Okay, it's understandable you believe in Sam Darnold. I'm not mad at you for that. But you had Rashawn Slater. You could have gave Sam Darnold some help. Like, did you not see the offensive line that he had when he was playing for the New York Jets? Do you, want him to start seeing ghosts again? And I understand people are going to be like, well, JT, you can improve the offensive line in the second round. I understand that. But at the same time, just like how you guys say, JT, you can't go cheap at quarterback, you can't go cheap at offensive tackle neither. Offensive freaking tackle. You can't go cheap at offensive tackle, man. If you have a chance to get one of the best offensive tackles in the draft, you do it. You don't try to settle for an offensive tackle in the second round. You don't go cheap when it comes to offensive tackle. You have an opportunity to get the best offensive tackle in the draft or the second best offensive tackle in the draft. You do it. You don't go cheap on tackle. But I think JC Horn is a really good fit. He played ball at South Carolina. He's not going to be moving too far down the street playing in Carolina as well for the Carolina Panthers. Really excited to see what he does in Carolina. I give Carolina a B+ for that selection. 9th overall, I'm giving the Broncos an A because they took Patrick Surtain. Now, I had a feeling that the Broncos were not going to draft a quarterback. I was really shocked that Justin Fields was still on the board. I personally had a feeling that the Denver Broncos were not going to draft a quarterback, even if Justin Fields was still on the board. Now, I had a little bit of skepticism about that, because when Justin Fields fell at 9, I was like, oh, God, is Detroit going to get Justin Fields? They passed on him. Okay, then Carolina passes on Justin Fields. Then I'm like, okay, Denver might prove me wrong. I might have to eat my words because the other day I said that Denver, if Justin Fields or Matt Jones are on the board, they're going to pass over him. Well, Denver, you end up proving me right because Denver showed by passing on Justin Fields and Mac Jones and by drafting Patrick Surtain 9th overall that they believe that Drew Lock is going to be more approved than what he was last year, working this offseason, being mentored by Peyton Manning, that Drew Lock, they have all the confidence in the world in Drew Lock moving forward as their franchise quarterback as of right now. But that doesn't mean they can't select the quarterback in round 2. And you have Teddy Bridgewater, who's going to be right behind him as well. I'm giving this pick an A because I had Patrick Surtain mocked to the Denver Broncos all this offseason. I think he was the best fit. You pair him up with Kyle Fuller. I think the Denver Broncos are going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL this year, and I think the Denver Broncos should be a borderline looking in of a playoff team this year. They should be able to compete with Kansas City. I think they have a really good roster. 10th overall, the Philadelphia Eagles trade up for, my God, Devontae Smith. I promise you, as soon as Devontae Smith's Philadelphia Eagles jersey is available to be purchased, I will be buying one, and I will be rocking it with my 13s. Now, Devontae Smith, in my opinion, is the best wide receiver in this draft class. I feel like he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. I love this pick for Philadelphia. You reunite him with Jalen Hurts. As a matter of fact, the other day, he said that he would love to be reunited with Jalen Hurts. Well, Philadelphia trades up a couple of 2 spots to get him. I think the reason why they did that was because they were afraid that maybe the New York Giants would go ahead and snack him. So for Devontae Smith going to the Philadelphia Eagles finally have a true number 1 wide receiver. And I had Devontae Smith mocked to the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I love this selection. I'm giving it an A+. Devontae Smith is my favorite player in the draft, and he now is my favorite player in the NFL. Behind Justin Herbert or ahead of Justin Herbert. It's a tie. It's a tie between Devontae Smith, Justin Herbert, and Jameis Winston. But I do know one thing for sure. When the Devontae Smith jersey is available to be purchased, I will be purchasing one, and I will be rocking it out with some J's. Love Devontae Smith. This has to be the biggest steal of the draft. Not just a steal. This has to be one of the most luckiest draft picks ever. Who would have thought that Justin Fields would drop all the way to 11 to Chicago? And who would have thought that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy would be able to pull it off where they finally look like they got their franchise guy? Because you messed up a couple of years ago, trading up the draft into Trubisky. Didn't work out. Now you trade up again and get Justin Fields. I'm giving this an A++. This is the best pick of the draft, man. And I already made a video about Justin Fields. Make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. But check me out, man. Justin Fields is starting week 1. There's no way you trade up for Justin Fields knowing that both Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's job security is in question going into this year. Justin Fields is here to be the savior for the Chicago Bears franchise. If they start Andy Dalton week 1 over Justin Fields, I would be extremely disappointed, and I would be extremely upset, and I would be extremely shocked, because if you're Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, your job security is on the line. You really want to put your job security in the hands of Andy Dalton? I don't think so. And I don't care if Justin Fields isn't ready to play day 1. You better make sure he's ready to play day 1, because if not, then that is a strike on you as a coach. And on top of that, if you can't have Justin Fields ready to play day 1, you might not have a job at the end of the year. You may be filling out your little unemployment check when you hit 2022 around this time next year. So if you're the Chicago Bears, you better make sure Justin Fields is ready to play come week 1. There's no way you trade up for Justin Fields with the intention of Justin Fields sitting behind Andy Dalton. Andy freaking Dalton. Yeah, right. Now, I understand a lot of Chicago Bears fans are a little bit upset because now you have Andy Dalton. What do you do with them? You're paying them $10 million this year. Well, that doesn't really mean anything because you got to think, I don't think Chicago was expecting Justin Fields to be available at this point in the draft. I'm pretty sure nobody did. So when you look at the Chicago Bears, do you have to make that trade? I don't think they were expecting Justin Fields to be available at this time. So for Chicago, kudos to Ryan Pace for finally doing something right. I'm really happy for Chicago Bears fans. You finally have a quarterback that you can believe in and a quarterback that has Deshaun Watson-like potential that potentially could take you from being on the brinks of, extinction when it comes to relevancy in the division that has been ran by the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, to now you have a quarterback who is going to be good enough eventually to go toe-to-toe with some of the best QBs in the NFL. Don't have to worry about check down Trubisky or anything like that. You have a true franchise quarterback. Chicago, I don't care if Justin Fields is ready to play right now. You better make sure he's ready to play come week 1 in September. With the 12th overall selection, I'm giving the Dallas Cowboys a C. They drafted linebacker Michael Parsons out of Penn State. Now, I didn't really think linebacker was that big of a need that you had to take Michael Parsons in the first round. Like, I understand Sean Lee retired, but you still got Leighton Vander Esch. Like, you still have Jalen Smith. You still have one of the best linebacking cores in the NFL. I know you had a down season and things like that, but was linebacker such a big need that you had to take it over the secondary? You still had Caleb Farley. You also could have went off the tackle. You could have went Vera Tucker. You could have went Christian Darrisaw because you still need some more depth there. Like, I just don't really like the Michael Parsons pick, and I don't really think he's going to be a good fit in Dallas, man, because when you look at Michael Parsons, like, he's still learning the linebacker position. On top of that, like, he's kind of like a pass rusher playing linebacker, basically. Like, yeah, he's going to be good when it comes to, when you blitz him off the edge and things like that, but I don't know, man. I don't really know if he's a good fit in Dallas defense. I would have liked it better if Dallas would have went with Caleb Farley, even though Caleb Farley's draft stock kind of plummeted because of his, injury concerns and things like that. I still feel like he would have been a better pick here instead of Michael Parsons. I got to give this draft grade for this pick a C. 13th overall, the LA Chargers get an A+ for drafting offensive tackle Rashawn Slater. Justin Herbert finally gets some protection. The LA Chargers have had a really good offseason. They invested in the offensive line. They're investing in Justin Herbert, trying to make sure their franchise quarterback doesn't go out like how Joe Burrow did last year. And I expect the LA Chargers to be competing for the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, I think that the LA Chargers have a really good chance of making it to the playoffs this year. I think that Justin Herbert could have an MVP caliber season. By the way, Justin Herbert is my favorite player in the NFL. It's either a tie between him, Jameis Winston, and Devontae Smith. Love me some Justin Herbert, man. I love this pick of Rashawn Slater. Who would have thought that Rashawn Slater would have been available at 13? Because in my mock draft, I had them taking Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech at 13 because I didn't think Rashawn Slater would fall this far to like the middle of the draft. So for the Chargers, you got a big steal. If you are a Chargers fan, you should be really happy with the selection of Rashawn Slater, 13th overall. 14th overall, the New York Jets trade up to get offensive guard Vera Tucker out of USC. Now, I was a little bit surprised they traded up to get an offensive guard because, this is probably like a really deep offensive guard class. So you probably could have gotten a really good offensive guard in rounds 2, 3, or 4. But you also could have got offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw, but I'm not mad at this pick. Okay, you pair him up, Vera Tucker, with Mekhi Becton. They're going to cause a lot of damage on that left side of that offensive line. And for New York, okay, you drafted Zach Wilson. Now you got to protect your franchise quarterback. And also, New York Jets can probably draft some more offensive linemen. I like this pick of Vera Tucker. I'm giving it an A-. 15th overall, the Patriots drafted the guy who we all knew was the best fit for New England, Mac Jones. And guess what? The Patriots didn't have to trade up for him. I was telling people, listen, I don't really think the Patriots are going to have to trade up for a QB, man. Like, if they were trying to get Justin Fields, I think they would have traded up for Justin Fields. But I had a feeling that Bill Belichick knew deep down inside that Mac Jones probably would have been available at 15 if he slid past the San Francisco 49ers at 3. So if you are a Patriots fan, you get similar to like a Tom Brady clone. A lot of people calling him Tom Brady 2.0. I wouldn't say that, but I do see a lot of similarities. I do see a lot of Matt Ryan and Mac Jones, and I think him going to the Patriots is going to be an absolutely phenomenal fit. I think this is going to be Cam Newton's last year in the NFL. I do think that he will retire after this year, and the reason why I think that's because, like, I don't really think there's going to be a market for Cam Newton after this year because he's kind of getting old. His body's kind of, you know, breaking down due to injuries, carrying all that weight around. You also got to look at his playing style. He's not a pure pocket passer. This guy's like a running quarterback. So the older you get, when you become a running quarterback, the more injuries you sustain. So I think Mac Jones is going to be a great successor when Cam Newton decides to step down. And it looks like the Patriots Sith Lord dynasty continues. The Sith Lord Bill Belichick is back at it again. I'm excited to see what Mac Jones does with the New England Patriots. I'm giving this an A+. Before I move on, make sure that if you haven't already, that you guys go ahead, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Upload NFL videos, college football videos daily. I got to take me a sip of water. So moving on to the 16th overall selection. The Arizona Cardinals take linebacker ZAVEN Collins out of Tulsa. I'm giving this grade a B. I really like this pickup. Now, I don't know how they're going to use ZAVEN Collins. I don't know if they're going to use him more as an edge rusher or an inside linebacker. I hope they use him as an inside linebacker, but word on the street is that they plan on using him as an outside linebacker. Don't really know how that's going to go, but if it doesn't end up panning out, then you can always move him back to inside linebacker. I like this pickup. I'm giving it a B. I think this is going to be a really good pick. The Cardinals either needed corner or a linebacker. I think that ZAVEN Collins, in my opinion, is the best linebacker in this draft class. He's smart, has good instincts, he's good in coverage. You can also blitz him off the edge as well. Like, ZAVEN Collins is the complete package. He can do everything. I think this was a really good pickup for Arizona. I got to keep it with a B. 17th overall, I think this may have been the worst selection up to this point. You select Alex Leatherwood, 17th overall. Mike Mayock, John Gruden, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? I watched you guys on TV for so many years growing up. You guys breaking down film, breaking down these draft prospects. Why are you guys always reaching for somebody every single season? Every single draft season, you reach for somebody. Last year, you reached for David Arnett. Guess what? David Arnett cost you potentially making it to the playoffs, blowing a cover 2 assignment against Miami. Like, when is the Las Vegas Raiders going to learn to stop reaching? Like, the Las Vegas Raiders, man, like, I don't know what's wrong with this team. And Raiders fans wonder why they don't make it to the playoffs. Because you have Mike Mayock and John Gruden who just be making these irrational decisions. Like, listen, Alex Leatherwood is an athletic freak, okay? But, like, I don't know. At 17... I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not mad at the position they selected, okay? Off the tackle, he can also play guard as well. But I'm mad at the player. 17th? Really? Alex Leatherwood? And Christian Darrisaw is still on the board. He's still on the board. You still could have gotten Christian Darrisaw, man. Like, I don't know what it is with the Las Vegas Raiders, man. I really don't. I'm like Mike Mayock, man. Like, this dude used to be one of the best analysts ever. Literally. Like, I don't understand some of his draft decisions from him and John Gruden, man. Like, Alex Leatherwood can be a really good player, man, but like at 17, I don't know. He reminds me a little bit much more of Eric Flowers, man. Like, I feel like the Raiders are going to end up moving him to guard, man. I don't think he's going to last too long at tackle because he didn't really have a great Senior Bowl week at off the tackle. He's better at guard. So, I don't know, man. I got to give this a C-, man. I think this is the worst pick of the draft up to this point. 18th overall. I love this pick, man. The Miami Dolphins stay at home and they take Jalen Phillips from Miami. I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. I've been telling people all this draft process that Jaylin Phillips is the best edge rusher. He's the most polished. Not only is he the most polished, but he also has the most production out of college as well. I feel like Jaylin Phillips is definitely going to be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think he can have 8-9 sacks right away, and he can be a Pro Bowler right away for Miami. A lot of you Miami Dolphins fans were getting mad at me because of my mock drafts. I had you guys taking a halfback when a lot of you guys said I should have had you guys taking the edge rusher. Well, you guys took Jaylin Phillips, played right down the street at Miami. I think he's going to have a 8-9 sack season right away, similar to like a Josh Allen. What Josh Allen did his rookie season for Jacksonville, having 10 sacks right away. I think Jaylin Phillips is going to have that kind of impact for that Brian Flores defense. Miami, you just got you a good one. 19th overall, the Washington football team selected linebacker out of Kentucky, Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis was a guy who creeped up the draft boards around, you know, the time that people were running their pro days and things like that. Normally, around February is where we normally have the NFL Combine, but we didn't really have a Combine. So Jamin Davis had an outstanding pro day. He was a guy who just skyrocketed off draft boards around, you know, like February, March. Before February, he was like a 3rd round pick, late 2nd. Now he boosted his stock all the way up into the 1st round, 19th overall. I really like this pick. He's long, he's rangy, he can cover. He also has pretty good sideline to sideline speed. And one thing about Washington is that they didn't really have a lot of talent at that linebacker position last year. Now you got in Jamin Davis. Really excited to watch Jamin Davis play for Washington this year. 20th overall, the New York Giants, man, they took KADARIUS Toney. Now, I'm interested to see what is KADARIUS Toney's role in this offense going to be. Is he going to play slot, or is he going to be an outside receiver? Because you got Darius Slayton there, okay. You got Kenny Galladay. Now, we know Kenny Galladay is going to be your outside wide receiver for a fact. But what about the other side of Kenny Galladay? Who's going to be lining up? Are you going to put Darius Slayton in the slot, or are you going to put KADARIUS Toney in the slot? Don't really know. But I think KADARIUS Toney is an incredible playmaker, and I think that's what the New York Giants are looking for, because, you know, you're looking for a guy who Daniel Jones can just, you know, when the deep ball isn't there, you can just dump it off to KADARIUS Toney. He's a guy who can get you a lot of yak. He reminds me similar to like a Golden Tate when Golden Tate was in his prime, and it's similar to like a Odell Beckham hybrid. Like, all you have to do is to get the ball in his hands, and he's going to make something explosive happen. This guy is incredible after the catch. This guy is a yak monster. I think he could have a pretty solid rookie year with the New York Giants. I like this pick. I'm giving it a B+. 21st overall, the Indianapolis Colts took edge rusher out of Michigan, Kwity Paye. I think this was a pretty good selection. The New York Giants, okay, I thought they could have taken the edge rusher, but they ended up taking a wide receiver instead. So the Colts ended up taking edge rusher Kwity Paye. I knew that the Colts were going to take an edge rusher. I feel like Kwity Paye fits like the mold of what they want. He's also super athletic. You got the potential there. Now, I'm not expecting a big season out of him right away. I think it's going to take him like 1 or 2 years before he finally starts dominating like how people expect him to. But I think for the first couple of years, you know, he'd probably be like a 3-sack guy. But I think after, you know, his 2nd year, going into year 3 of his career, he should be a guy who should end up getting 8-9 sacks a season. 22nd overall, the Tennessee Titans took cornerback Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. I'm giving this an A-. I like this selection. Caleb Farley, it was rumored that he was going to end up falling down the boards due to his injury concerns. He might not be able to play right away. He may be on the player unable to perform list for a couple of weeks. But I think Caleb Farley is definitely what Tennessee needed. Their secondary last year was not really all that great. As a matter of fact, it was really disappointing when you look at the talent that they had last year. You had Adoree Jackson, former 1st-round pick. You had Malcolm Butler. You had a really good back in the secondary. Like, I was really disappointed in the performance that Tennessee really had on defense as a whole last year. So one way to help that pass rush out, because you also could have took an edge rusher, is to improve the secondary. Because if you're able to improve the secondary and you're able to, you know, guard these wide receivers for like 4 or 5 seconds, you're going to give the pass rush more time to hit home. I like the selection of Caleb Farley. I think he's going to be a really good player when he's able to get healthy, when he's able to get on the field. But the main question is, can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? 23rd overall, the Minnesota Vikings got offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw. I don't know how Christian Darrisaw fell all the way to 23. And the fact that's crazy is Minnesota actually traded down and they were still able to get Christian Darrisaw. That's wild. I'm giving this an A. You shore up your offensive line. I think Christian Darrisaw is definitely what you need at offensive tackle position. Dalvin Cook should be happy, and Kirk Cousins especially should be really happy as well. 24th overall, as a Steelers fan, I called it. I told y'all, if Najee Harris is on the board, the Steelers are going to take Najee Harris. I've been saying it all off season. I understand people are going to say, well, you need an offensive tackle. Yeah, Burger McFarland, I heard you. But check this out. I don't think you knew this, Booger McFarland, but you do know that majority of our offensive line last year was injured. Our first string was injured, and our backups even got injured. Okay, now we're going to start getting we're going to start to get younger, and we're also going to start to get healthy as well. We had a lot of young guys last year that got injured. Those guys are going to be coming back this year. Our main concerns is going to be addressing the center position and also left tackle, which I'm a little bit concerned about left tackle because right tackle, okay, you can find a very good right tackle in rounds 3 or 2, but you don't really find a lot of great left tackles in the later rounds of the draft. Normally, if you're trying to find an elite left tackle, you got to draft it early in round 1. But Najee Harris is the closest thing to Le'Veon Bell. That's why I wanted Najee Harris so bad. When you look at what he's able to do, he's patient. He waits for the holes to develop. He's also a little bit he's powerful, but he also has a little bit of nimbleness in his game, a little bit of finesse, and you also can line him out wide at wide receiver sometimes in certain formations, similar to how Pittsburgh used to utilize Le'Veon Bell. I'm really excited for what Najee Harris is going to do in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. As you guys can tell from the background, I am a Steelers fan. I was excited about this pick. 25th overall, man. The Jacksonville Jaguars made the worst selection of the draft. You drafted Travis Etienne when you already got James Robinson, and Carlos Hyde. Missed with that 1-2 punch bull crap, man. If that was the case, you could have got a good halfback in round 3, round 2. You could have got Chuba Hubbard or somebody like that, man. Like, I really hate this pick, man. I'm giving this an F+. I've never given a team an F+ in my 3 years doing these draft grades, man. But I had to give it to Jacksonville. That really peed me off, man. And I think what probably peed me off more, like, it may be, I'm not even going to lie, the F+ is a little bit, you know, coming from a little bit of anger because James Robinson was my fantasy football halfback last year in every single league. And on top of that, I was trying to draft him this year. Now I got to stay away from him because now you're going to have Travis Etienne taking his carries, man. So fantasy football does have a little bit to do with F. You can make the argument that they don't deserve an F+. They could get a D or something, but I'm still giving them an F, man. I hated this pick, man. You could have drafted a safety. You could have drafted another corner. Asante Samuel Jr. still on the board. Like, come on, man. You still had Asante Samuel Jr. You still had Greg Newsome II on the board, and you need corner, man. You need corner. Could have used another corner, man. You could have used a slot corner. I don't know, man. I know you got Shaquille Griffin and things like that, but you could have used a slot corner. You could have used a safety. Could have went Barmore out of Alabama. Like, there's just so much you could have done here, man. You just take another halfback. You already have that. You could have got that later. You could have got Chuba Hubbard. F+, man. 26 overall, the Cleveland Browns take cornerback Greg Newsome out of Northwestern. I like Greg Newsome a lot. I watched Greg Newsome play a good amount. Don't ask me why I was watching so many Northwestern games. I don't know, man, but I think he's going to be a really good pickup. Cleveland has a really good team right now, okay? Now they still need to address the linebacker position. Okay, you can still get a Wosu in the second round because a lot of people are really high on him. Some people feel like he was the best linebacker in this draft class. So maybe you can trade up early round 2, or maybe he falls to you if you have a second round selection and you can improve your linebacker position. But Greg Newsome is going to be phenomenal. Now you're going to have Greedy Williams. You probably could move Greedy Williams to slot. Then you're going to have Denzel Ward. This Cleveland Browns team, man, they're looking like a Super Bowl contender. Don't sleep on Cleveland when it comes to the Super Bowl picture, man. That's right. Cleveland in the Super Bowl prediction. Never thought I'd be saying that. But yeah, I really like the addition of Greg Newsome. I'm going to give this a B. 27th overall, the Baltimore Ravens selected wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Everybody pretty much knew that the Baltimore Ravens were most likely going to pick Rashad Bateman at 27 because he most likely was going to be available, one of the best wide receivers in this draft class. Now, he was listed like at 190 or something, but he plays a lot bigger than what his weight's listed as. Like, he's listed as like 190, I think, or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he plays like he's 230. Like, this guy bullies defensive backs. Like, I thought he was like 6'4", 240 pounds with the way he plays. This dude plays way bigger than what his size and weight indicates on paper. The Ravens got them a good one. They got them a great deep ball wide receiver. You got a guy who can go up, get those 50-50 balls, but you also have a guy who can do a little bit of damage with the ball in his hands as well. Phenomenal pickup for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm giving this an A+. 28th overall, the New Orleans Saints took edge rusher Payton Turner out of Houston. I'm giving this an A-. I like this. Okay, you just picked up the 5th-year option on Marcus Davenport. Now Marcus Davenport has to produce. If he does produce, then you're going to have edge rusher Payton Turner taking his place. Payton Turner, I had him like a 2nd-round guy, but I could see him sliding into the late part of the 1st round. And there actually was a report, I forgot who it was by, that said that Payton Turner's getting a lot of interest in terms of a guy who can slide in to the 1st round and sneak his way in, and we saw that happen with the New Orleans Saints at 28. 29th overall, the Green Bay Packers took cornerback Eric Stokes. A lot of Packers fans are still upset because they didn't take a wide receiver with everything that's going on with Aaron Rodgers and things like that. But after what I saw in the NFC Championship game, do you really want that happening again? I don't think so. Eric Stokes is going to be a great fit on the opposite side of Jair Alexander. And if you want a wide receiver, you can still get a wide receiver day 2 of the draft. You still got Daz Newsome still on the board. You still have Amari Rodgers. You still have, Terrence Marshall. You still have a lot of great 1st round caliber wide receivers who are still going to be on the board in the 2nd round and in the 3rd rounds as well. I like the Eric Stokes draft pick. I think it's a pretty good draft selection. You needed to improve the cornerback position. I'm going to give it an A-. 30th overall, the Buffalo Bills took edge rusher Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. Now, I had a feeling that Gregory Rousseau was going to drop. I almost had a feeling he was going to drop into round 2, but Buffalo ended up picking him up. I'm giving it an A- because Gregory Rousseau has a lot of upside, but he's going to need a lot of work. Doesn't really have a lot of pass rush moves. I feel like his 15-sack season was overrated. A lot of Miami fans criticized me about that, but he does have the speed. He has the athleticism to be a really good edge rusher. It's just going to take a little bit of time for him to come around, but I think Buffalo is willing to wait. That's why I'm giving this an A-. 31st overall, the Baltimore Ravens, with their 2nd selection that they picked up in the Orlando Brown trade from Kansas City, edge rusher Jason Oweh. Now, I don't really like Oweh. I think he's really overrated. As a matter of fact, I think he's the most overrated edge rusher in this draft class. Like, I'm not even tripping on the production part. It's like, I just don't get it, man. Like, I just don't see in Oweh what everybody else sees him like. I like the edge rusher from Georgia a lot better. But, I mean, like, I guess it's a decent pick. You know, maybe you can develop in the right way. Maybe you can maybe Baltimore fits, you know, his playing style and whatnot. I'm going to give it a B. I don't think it's a bad selection. You know, I just don't really like Oweh as a prospect. I think he's really overrated. The last selection of the draft, Tampa Bay took edge rusher Joe Tryon out of University of Washington. I'm giving this an A. I think he's going to be a really good fit in Tampa Bay's defense, especially if JPP decides to retire, hang it up after this year. I think this is going to be a really good pickup for Tampa Bay. The rich get richer. So this is it for my 2021 NFL Draft 1st round grades and reactions. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos.